when we use Python for data analysis, we read data from various sources, and these are the three sources. Either data is in the form of a file, or it is available through some URL, or it is in your database. So how do we access data that is in database? The API we are going to use is called DB API. So we are now talking about Python's DB API 2.0. Every language, every technology provides you API like this. In Java it's called JDBC. In .NET we call it as ADO.NET. And in Python we call it as a DB API. And this API is very simple to use. And we start with SQLite. SQLite is a very simple, small, file-based database. It stores the database as a file. We use that because Python ships with SQLite database engine. Along with Python, you already have SQLite database engine. In fact, even Android ships with the SQLite engine. If you are developing Android native applications, you can use SQLite because that's part of Android. You can get more information about SQLite by going to their website. And we cover a lot of ground, and you are expected to go to different sources to grab more information. And it is not difficult to get information provided you know where to go to get information. It's all about knowing where and what. So now I told you, use beautiful soup. That's it. That's all you need to know. You can get as much information as you want by going to their website. Now, SQLite is what we use because it's a very simple file-based database. And we want to use that. But to use SQLite and to make your life easy, you need to use SQLite Manager. It's called as a SQLite Studio. I want you to download SQLite Studio. Go and download SQLite Studio. It is a small application, small tool rather. And it is used to access SQLite. So as they very clearly mentioned, it is portable, no need to install or uninstall, just download, unpack and run. Okay, just download that, unpack it, and you're ready to run. And intuitive interface, easy to use for sure. And it supports all platforms, so cross-platform. These are the terms you have to understand nowadays: cross-platform, open source, and things like that. Of course, it is open source and free, okay, and a few other things. But just go download that. So we are talking about SQLite, and I already downloaded that. Go to download Windows version. Or if you are using Mac or something else, appropriately you download that version. And it is just a zip file. Okay. Go to download the zip file and unzip, you're ready to go. I already did that, and that's the reason I have this. And if you see, this is my SQLite Studio. I downloaded and then I extracted and I'm ready to use. So download, extract, double click, you start. So here is my SQLite somewhere in my softwares folder. I have that. This is SQLite Studio. I downloaded that and this is my SQLite Studio 16 MB. And then I extracted, here is that. And then I just need to start that. There is the application. Just double click, it starts. Nothing else. And they have taken care of everything. Now once you start, this is what you get. This is what you get, SQLite Studio, and you need to create a new database. Because you don't get the database ready-made, you need to create the database. So once you start, because SQLite is only engine, there is no client to it. So you can't connect it to that, create tables and all unless you have some client. So this is the client I'm talking about. So go to database menu, add a database. We don't have any database right now, so we create a database. It is a very small engine, not like Oracle, which is pretty FD. You don't know where the data in Oracle is because it's all inside the database, which is consisting of many files in different places. But here it's all simple. Let's just go and create a new database. And we put it in our folder. Go to our folder. We talk about Python. Now there I would like to create the database. In your case, you create a database. I already have a few databases there. Do you see? They're all databases I already created. But now I just create a new database called st.db. Typically that's the name we give. st.db is what I'm creating. Click on save. It is saying, okay, I will create something like st.db and name is st. That's fine. And you can even click on test connection to see. It's saying, okay, your test passed. Just click on OK. You got the SQLite database called st. No tables, nothing. There are no tables. Now you can connect it to that and start creating tables. Connect to database. And now you get this and there are no tables. So what is the first thing you want to do? Create table. We just create one small table and we make use of it for now. Later you can think of more tables. This is not a database course. We don't talk about multiple tables and all the stuff related to it. This is Python course where our focus is not database but Python API. So I create a very simple database table called courses. And this is how you have to say, create table courses. And then every course is given an ID. I say course ID, which is a number. And then it is also primary key. It's not exactly same as any other database you know, but some of the details are similar. And I think I gave you some details here. And not about SQLite, okay, in detail, but a few things like what are the data types we have, some details about it. And then this is integer, that's fine, okay. I think I can call it as int also or integer, whichever. And then the course title. I want to call it like that. Title is text. And then text of what size? You can mention text of what size you want to have, or you can just leave it. It is going to give you the maximum size. Like this, you can just give text. Okay, and then I say something like the course duration. So you can give duration, or you can remove all that. I say ID, title, duration. That's better. Simple. Again, integer, and then course fee is integer. You can have some more details if you like, but I think that's enough. I go and run this. Execute query, and it says query finished. That means the table is created. This is the table. And you can also make this ID auto-generate. So automatically as you insert the row, ID is incremented. Well, we are not using all features of it. But if you are planning to use SQLite, try to read a little more about it. It takes just a few hours. And you, especially with the knowledge of any other database system, should find it easy to deal with. If you are a stranger to databases, I strongly suggest first get yourself familiar with databases. You must know constraints, the concepts like primary key, foreign key, the concepts like joining, grouping, subqueries. I don't know, many neglect databases. I don't understand what is their mindset, what they think. But database knowledge is indispensable. When you don't know it, you don't know it. So you need to be very thorough with databases, especially the querying part of it, like joining, grouping, subqueries. Concepts like indexing, views. You need to be aware of stored procedures, cursors, triggers, all sorts of things, because every application uses database. Now, this is the table in SQLite. Now, we can insert some data into it. So, I can say insert into. Now, you can see there under the tables, you see your table. Courses. You can expand to see even the columns in that. Now, insert into courses. Values. 1. I say Python programming, and I'm talking about 40, talking about something like this. I run that. If it says query finished, it means the job is done. So you have a row inserted. Okay, that's the way you can insert the row. The other row is 2. We are talking about Angular 22,000. Well, I just make this available to you as part of your, I create a new folder and I call it as DB, that's database. In that I'm going to place this, a new file, and I say SQLite.SQL. That's just typically what we give as extension for scripts, SQL scripts, and okay, SQLite there. Okay, I'm putting that. Like this, you can insert more rows. I suggest at least you insert 5 rows manually. The rest you can do later. And it is saying that .SQL files are not supported, but there is a plugin that can do that for you. If you want, install the plugin. Okay, you can install plugin so that it supports the .SQL files. Actually, if you go for Pro edition, professional edition, you get lot more features. Especially when we go to web development very shortly, it keeps telling you that if you use professional edition, you get more features. But that's okay. Ignore that for now. Okay, this is about your database. You're ready. Now, I want to insert a row from Python. I want to connect it to this database called st.db, and I want to then insert a row into courses table. For that, I need to write a program. And here is the way we do it. This is the way you have to connect it to database. Look at that. Import SQLite tree. Don't need to install, it's built in. Just import that. Establish a connection. The first step is always establishing a connection. Then you create a cursor. That is probably called as a statement in some other APIs or command. If I take JDBC, it's called statement. In ADWord.NET, it's called command. In Python, they call it as cursor. Different people, different terms. So there, when you are using the tool takes care of certain things. So there we are talking about the tool. Okay, it is now inserting, and you can go and try to retrieve the data. You can go and then see what is the data you have there. So we can go there, and you can anytime edit the table if you want, and you can also do a lot more things. Okay, you can generate a query from that. This is the tool, and we don't use much of that, but suddenly we use this to retrieve the data. So how do you retrieve data? Select star from courses. This is what we have. Now, coming to this, let us connect it to this like this, and then it is trying to execute a command that is creating a table, but I want to just simply insert a row. This is how I'm going to insert a row. Again, execute, and whatever command you want to execute. So let's just take this piece of code and try to use it. What is our program? Add course, right? Now, to start with, step by step. First import, right? Then you need to connect. Where is it? It is in E drive, classroom, Python, st.db. Then create a cursor. After you create a cursor, you are ready to insert. And for that, either you can take the data from user, or you can assume some data. I assume some data to start with. Insert into what? Courses. Now, then we are talking about courses. And what we need to do is, we need to insert a row, and then we need to display the message. And we need to keep this in a try block because this can fail. Okay, I just put it like that. If at all there is a problem, we display a message and finally we close the connection. And here in Python, it is important to commit. Not in your SQLite Studio, but here, after you execute the command, you need to commit the change. Now listen, you are inserting a row into the table and you are supposed to provide 4 values. And Python is saying, give me the command and give me the values for these question marks here as a tuple. So I'm going to give 3 and I say Java SE, saying this and then this. This is the way we do it. So we are talking about something like this. This is the duration, this is the course fee, and these 3, those 4 question marks are replaced with these 4 values. And then it is going to execute that insert. If it is successful, we commit the change, means make the change permanent. And if you don't commit, the change is not made permanent and it is lost. So far the DB API is concerned, you must commit. And then I display message and I come out and close the connection. Always close the connection at the end and open it in the beginning. So if I run this program, I should be successful and I should see a message like this, added row to courses table. Shall we? That's the way you insert a new row. Only 2 simple things. Connection, cursor. That's it. Connection and cursor. And cursor is what we use to execute commands. Connection is to connect. And you see here, what is that? You are talking about some parameters and you need to provide this. What happens if I run the program again? It is going to result in an error because I can't insert 3 again. We already inserted 3. Primary key was already inserted. 3 cannot be inserted again. So go run. You're going to get the message, sorry, the error is unique constraint failed for column ID. This message is coming from your SQLite. It is saying I can't insert because of this problem. So I'm catching the exception and displaying the message. This is very simple, but actually we will do something more simpler than this. We will use Django ORM. When you use Django's ORM, you are going to insert a new row in 2 lines. You don't need to do all this. I'll explain what is Django's ORM later, but for now this is the way we insert. Okay, so to make it more dynamic, you need to take data from user. Okay, take data from user and make use of it. How do you take data? You know, right? Simple input. But later when we start our web applications, we take input through HTML. We'll build HTML interface that is more interesting. What if I want to list all courses? Copy and paste. And you can say list courses. Now when it comes to list courses, it's all about this. We just execute something like this. So in list courses, I just need to execute a query like this. Select start from courses, order by ID. And what you get is, you have a method called fetch all. This is going to retrieve all the rows retrieved by this query. Look, this execute is already retrieving the data from courses table in st.db. This retrieves all the rows. Now I want to take one row at a time by calling fetch all. Fetch all is giving me a list of tuples. Fetch all gives a list of tuples. It gives a list of tuples because a row is otherwise known as a tuple even in databases. So long back I told you I expect you to know little of SQL knowledge, because programming and basics of SQL are the prerequisites for this course. And you can go to W3 schools, get some basics, or you can go for my Oracle book in Amazon. That book is for beginners of Oracle. It's a Kindle edition. You get a complete overview of databases and Oracle. Oracle is #1 database system. You don't learn databases like SQLite and say you know what database is. It's too small. You need to know something bigger like Oracle or SQL Server or MySQL. Okay, and if you don't have time to join any course and pursue anything related to database, I strongly recommend you pick up this book. This is about Oracle database, and this contains all that you need to know about databases. It's my Kindle edition, where you have all the details you must know. It covers both SQL and also PL SQL. So for those who want to know about Oracle but don't have time or do not want to pursue a course is always the fastest and simplest means. But when you can't do that, you need to go for other resources. This is what I recommend. And this covers up to 12C. And Kindle editions can be read not just in Kindle device, but in any other platform, because we have Kindle app provided by Amazon people. So you can read a Kindle book in any device, whether it's Android or iOS, Windows, Mac, wherever. Just install Kindle application. And also, if you subscribe to Kindle Unlimited, there is something like that. Okay, there is Kindle Unlimited. I think that is something like 1,000 per annum, if I'm right. Then all the books that are registered for Kindle Unlimited are free for you. So you can read all those books for free if you buy Kindle Unlimited subscription from Amazon people. So if you are a book lover, that's a great resource, because there are lots of books that are free in Kindle Unlimited. Okay, coming to this, I retrieve the data. I want to sort by ID. Now fetch all is giving you all the rows one by one. I pick up the row, and this is a tuple. So I need to use the index like this. I want the course title. I want the duration and fee. I'm not printing the ID. Okay, if I want ID, you know that's going to be row of 0. It won't come in any great format, but nevertheless, it works. So go run, and you're going to see that in this way. That's what you're getting. And you can always format that. You know how to format. So you can just say you want to have percentage hyphen some 30s and then 5D or 3D percentage 5D, and then you can put something like this. We also need ID, so percentage 3D. So you can have some more meaningful data if you want. Then go, you get something like that. In just a few seconds, you can make things look much better. You should always do that because your output should always look good, not shabby, not ugly, beautified. And this is the way it goes. So I want to retrieve the data, and this is the best way, fetch all. And you can have any conditions there if you like. What if you want only costly courses or cheap courses? Okay. Now, then you should say, start from this where you are saying fee is less than 3,000, and this is what you do. Run, you get only one course. Okay, it's your oracle or your database knowledge basically, nothing about Python. But if you don't know enough about SQL, select command, insert and all, there is always a problem because you just can't get it right. That's a problem. So I don't want you to have any such handicap. Do invest on your database because that's one-time investment, common for all technologies. Whether you're Java programmer, Python, .NET, Ruby, PHP, doesn't matter. They all talk to database. So here is your database. What else you can do? Well, you can update and you can delete. You have commands, and the rest of the programs are just about that. But one new thing here is when you're trying to update, you get the count. And where are the details? Well, the details are here. This is about cursor object. In cursor object, we have row count, which is an attribute that tells you row count tells you how many rows were affected by previous command. And fetch 1 will give you only the next row. Fetch many can fetch a set. And then fetch all is going to get you all. Why do we use fetch 1? Well, there are cases where I know there is only one row coming from the query. For example, I want to display the average course fee. I want to know what is the average course fee for all the courses. So if you want, you can do that in this way. Just go for paste and I say average course fee. Now this average course fee is like that. You just say average of fee from courses. And that is just a single value. So you don't do all this. You just say row is equal to cursor dot fetch 1. Because you know you're not going to have more than one row because that's the way it goes. And then you can say print what? Average course fee. And then row of 0. There is only one column in that because this is that one column and there can be only one row, and the row we are fetching. That's it. This is all that I want to do. So go run and you will see that. Well, as usual, with your knowledge of Python or even with the knowledge of database, you can round it, truncate it, do all sorts of things. Can we round it now? How do we do it? So do we have anything like math? Do we need to import? And then we say math dot what? Floor. That is what I want to do. I get something simpler like that. This is what I can do. Well, all your knowledge remains the same. This is just added to. And you can take data from internet and store it in your database. Say you want to have information about countries, and is that information changing every day? Yes? Countries information is changing every day. Country capitals change every day, or new countries come up every day. Then borders change. What changes? Population changes. Okay, but their currency can also change, in the sense not the currency, but currency conversion. The conversion value can change. Now, I want you to integrate your request library with database. So create a table called countries. Create a table called countries. With the code. With the code. Country name. Code. Country name. Capital. Population. And region. So what you should do is you populate this table with data coming from REST countries. Take the data from REST countries and store it in this table. So you read the data from that URL, and whatever data you get about countries there, bring the data, insert into this table. Because you don't want to access an internet resource every time, because sometimes applications must be built even for offline usage. Means what if we are not connected to it? Then also if I have to get some information, then it should be with me in the local system. So you create a table, bring all the data from there, insert into. And then you can use that for your further queries. You don't have to go to REST countries every time, because it does take time to go there, retrieve data. Even they are retrieving data from their database. So that's all lengthy. If it is live data, real data which you cannot really store and then have accuracy, fine. Otherwise, you try to bring the data into your table and use it. So if you know little more about update, insert, use those commands. I leave it to you. It depends on your knowledge. And those who are familiar with Oracle, I want you to go to my website, and there is a blog regarding how to connect to Oracle. Please go through that. This blog is listing all the steps related to Oracle connectivity. As I can't expect everyone to know Oracle, I don't discuss this in the class. Okay, you have details in the material and more details in this blog. Like how to connect to Oracle by installing a new library, CX Oracle, and then you need to install a software called Instant Client that's coming from Oracle. Okay, there is a URL. Go there, download and install. The steps are given. And then this is how you connect it to Oracle. You got to know Oracle database. And if you know Oracle, there is an account called HR with password HR. Don't ever try to access a database without knowing database. That's waste of time. Okay, I can't now start talking to DB2 with no idea about what DB2 is. You should know database, like how to connect, where the database is, some details. Because every database is different. And the way I connect it to my SQL is quite different from the way I connect to Oracle. So you need to get those details. That is with you or when you work with the database. If you never work with database, don't worry. Okay? Because we are not going to use Oracle in this course. I am going to use SQLite all through. Even from Django, when we build applications, we talk to only SQLite. But those who know Oracle, you must try this because you understand then what are the minor differences. For example, the parameters in Oracle differ. There you don't use question marks, you use columns. So there are minor differences. Not everything goes exactly same. So you need to know this is the way it goes. Okay. So that is about executing query, and you can also call stored procedures and all. If you know what is what, you can understand. So those who know Oracle, try that. Those who do not know Oracle, don't try that because that's waste of time. You don't want to access databases that you don't know, and that too not like Oracle. Moreover, you don't have Oracle in your system. Those who never worked with Oracle, you don't have Oracle in your system. And again, you need to bring it, install it. That's all, little process. Don't worry, don't do that. Well, if you're planning to learn Oracle and if you're planning to work with that, yes. And to assist you how to get started, I have some videos in my YouTube channel. Go there, you can learn how to get started with Oracle 11G. There I explained how to download, install and get started. But if you are only focusing on Python for now, focus only on Python. Okay? But my sincere suggestion, keeping the requirements of industry on my mind, do invest on database whenever you can because it's always important. Okay? Well, so that is what we need to do. And what we are trying to do is trying to connect it to the database. And this is about some API. So what commands, what methods? Connect. Then cursor gives you cursor. Then execute. After execute, you have to decide what to do. If it is a query, use fetch. But if it is a DML command like insert, update or delete, you have to use, what do you use? Row count. Because row count tells you how many rows were affected. Because insert, delete, update, they are changing the data. They give you the count. What do you mean by parameters? These question marks. Okay. Each question mark represents a missing value. You provide values from here. So that's about database to start with. But those who know Oracle, do experiment with Oracle. Some of you know Oracle. If you already have Oracle installed in your system, then try to follow the steps given there, so that you can get started with Oracle. It just makes you feel better, feel more comfortable, more knowledgeable when you know how to talk to multiple databases. If you know MySQL, go to PyPy, look for MySQL related API, just like how Oracle is accessed using CX Oracle. You have API provided for MySQL. Use that, connect it to MySQL, and then access the data there. Takes little time, but there is a lot of information, lots of blogs. Somebody has written in detail what are the steps you need to take, because that's the way the world is going now. Nobody is just hiding, everybody sharing. So you can always find a good resource.